Stacy, none of this is fair at all. Why do you always get everything and I get left out? You don't even have a job, but you get to live in a high-rise apartment like that? That's way too luxurious for someone like you.
What are you talking about now, Beth?
I heard it all from your mom, so don't try to lie to me. She told me that they moved out of the family home and then into a really fancy high-rise in the center of the city. And you are living there with them.
Well, yeah, I am living with them, but so what? I don't understand what you're so worked up about right now.
What? How can you not see this? It's obvious. You're just leeching off of your mom and dad and see no problem in that at all. Grow up and open your eyes to what you're doing. Aren't you ashamed of what you're doing? Because you should be. You're not a kid anymore, so you need to fend for yourself without relying on your mom and your dad so much. You're just an unemployed freeloader.
Just hold on here, Beth. I don't know what you're so worked up about right now. First of all, what do you mean that I am unemployed? What makes you think that? I have a job and work just like everyone else.
Oh, right. I'm sure you do. Making a bit of money on the side doing some random things doesn't count as working a job. Only making enough for a little bit of spending money as though you're a high schooler working your first job still counts as being unemployed in my book.
You are still making no sense at all. Who said that I was only making a little bit on the side? I never mentioned anything like that.
Let me ask you a question instead of answering yours. It doesn't matter what I ask. You won't tell me what your job is or how much you earn, right? And so I'm sure that's because you yourself know that it doesn't count and the amount is so low that it can't even be called earnings. If you have to beg your parents to move in with them and live there for free, then you must only work some part-time shifts a couple of times a month and not have enough money to get a place of your own. God, this really gets on my nerves. Paul and I are both working so hard to support ourselves and pay for our place. And all the while, you're out here living an easy life, mooching off of your parents.
Just calm down and hold off on your judgments for a second, will you? What's gotten into you right now, calling me a leech and unemployed? Stop accusing me of things that aren't true.
Oh, what's this? Have you grown a backbone since you started being a leech? Isn't that a little ironic? But you won't fool me. I know that you're actually nervous and a coward. I heard from your mom and Paul that you've always been really timid. That even caused you to fail most of your college exams because you would get so nervous when they came around. And then you ended up having to just go to some random community college because it was the only place that would accept you. That's a far cry from your younger brother Paul, who managed to get into and graduate Harvard with flying colors.
You're right, the two of us are very different. He was able to get in as though it was nothing, and even though I studied so hard for my entrance exams, it was all for nothing on the day because I choked under the pressure.
You're like that in all else, but pretty cunning when it comes to using your family, huh? With a personality like that, you really are on the low end of what a person should be. You're already at a ripe enough age to stop relying on your parents, don't you think? You really should stop being a leech sooner rather than later, if you ask me.
Mom, do you have a second to talk right now? I have something that I want to talk to you about. Sure, I have time. What is it? Did you tell Paul and Bethany something about me moving into this apartment with you? What do you mean? I talked to them a little bit ago, but all I said was that you moved in with us. But she messaged me just then calling me a leech and saying that I shouldn't be mooching off of you and Dad while being unemployed. Nothing she said really made a lot of sense, but she had a lot of complaints aimed at me for some reason. And they were all mainly because I was living with you and Dad. Oh, I hope you didn't say anything that you didn't need to. Like that the apartment is actually yours and we're the ones living with you or anything like that. You didn't mention that, right? No, I didn't say that. But don't tell me that you lied to them and told them that you were the ones who owned it. Is that why she thinks that I am leeching off of you two? That must be it. This is my place, and you're going around lying about it and making me look bad? No, that's not it. I didn't lie about anything myself. Bethany must have just made a wrong assumption about it herself. She just assumed that it was yours, and she didn't say anything about it yourself? Exactly. I told her that we moved into a high-rise, and she straight away started saying stuff like, "Oh, of course you two would be able to buy something nice like that," and all the rest of it. When she started saying that kind of stuff, I didn't really know how to cut in and tell her that it was actually yours.
What? It's easy enough to just set the record straight immediately. You should have just told her that it was mine and that you asked me if you could move in and live with me here. Why didn't you just correct her when she first made the mistake?
I couldn't just say something like that. It would have been embarrassing for me to say that. Then people would think that your dad and I are the ones leeching off of you.
What?
Just imagine if it was known that we had to come and live with you. You have always been the biggest failure in our whole family, and now me and your dad are having to rely on you for help. I couldn't let Paul see us in that kind of light. He has always been our favorite, and I want to make sure that he still views us in a good light.
You've got to be kidding me right now. A failure? You still think of me that way?
Yeah, and what of it? What are you getting so riled up for? You've always been the failure and black sheep of the family. Ever since you were kids, Paul had always stood out and succeeded in everything, but you were never gifted in the same way that he was. You failed all of your college exams and went to a community college. It's embarrassing to even have to say that out loud. Your dad and I failed when we had you. You have been nothing but an embarrassment to the family.
So no matter how much I try and work hard, no matter the fact that you and Dad have come to live in the apartment that I own, you still won't ever accept me, will you? I thought that something might have changed with time, but I guess I was wrong about that.
Shut up already. So what? You got a little bit ahead with work and were able to buy this apartment. Don't get cocky just because you got a little bit of success for once in your life.
I'm not getting cocky at all. But hold on. If you're acting like this, then I assume that you haven't told Paul what happened to the family business yet either then. Have you?
Shut your mouth already. That has nothing to do with you.
It has everything to do with me. We're all family after all. Business has been bad and the whole thing was on the brink of bankruptcy. You even had to sell the house in order to inject some more money into it and keep everything afloat. That's why you had to come and live with me in the first place, because you had nowhere else to go and not enough money to get another place. Stop your weird posturing in front of Paul and tell him the whole story already.
I told you to shut it already. The timing when telling him all of this is important, you know. He was always thinking to take over after your dad decides to retire, so this news will be quite a shock to him.
But that's even more reason to tell him as soon as you can.
I just told you that I'm waiting for the right time to tell him. So you better not go ahead and tell him a single word about this, okay? Don't you dare mess things up and get in our way with this.
Wow, there is such an amazing view here. It sure is nice to be able to look down and see the entire city from your window. And now I will be able to wake up and enjoy this view every single day. I can't wait to start fresh living here. I'm so excited.
What are you going on about right now?
We brought all of our stuff over already, so we'll put yours out by the front door so we can get it later. Or maybe we should just throw it all away and get them out of here quicker?
Seriously, what is going on here? Why did you move your stuff into my house?
Your house? What are you talking about? It's not yours. It's your parents'. You just moved in as a leech. You have some nerve pretending that it's yours, don't you? You really are a pretty shameful person, aren't you?
Stop beating around the bush with the insults and just tell me what you're talking about.
Sorry about this, but Paul and I are moving in and are going to live here from now on instead of you. Nobody has any use for you, so you need to clear out and find somewhere else to live.
What? Don't mess around saying things like that. That's not something to joke about so lightly. Why should I have to move out so that the two of you can come and live there? As if I would ever just roll over and accept that. Hurry up and get the hell out of my apartment.
It doesn't matter if you want to accept it or not. You have no right to tell us what to do. It was your parents who decided to let us live here and invited us to come, so you have no say in this matter.
And why does it matter what they want or say?
Because they are the owners and can choose what they want to do with the house and who they want to live there. It seems like they are also sick of having to live with you. So they went out of their way to ask us to come instead and replace you. They called today and told us that you were off on a trip abroad, so you won't be coming home for a while. So it's the perfect time for us to come and move our stuff in.
You've got to be kidding me right now. Mom called you guys to come and move in?
She sure did. But really, you're quite low, aren't you? You leech off of your own parents and then turn around and go on a trip abroad. If you have money to travel, then you should at least be paying something for staying in such a nice place and not expect it for free. You're just a failure who causes trouble for everyone and gets in the way of them living their life.
I'm not a failure or anything close to that. And I have done as much as I could for my parents. When they came crying and begging me to let them move in with me, I did just that. And this is how they repay me. I didn't expect that they would try something like this.
What are you going on about now? Who would go crying to a failure like you for help? What could you ever help anyone with? Stop living in your dream world and accept reality for what it is. Paul and I are going to be living in this apartment instead of you. You've been a leech for long enough, so you need to get out immediately.
Fine then, I will. Actually, you're being a real help to me with this. Thanks for this.
Wait, what?
I can finally get away from that hellish life living with my parents there, and you're going to tag in for me. I couldn't be more grateful. I was hoping an opportunity like this would come along, and I guess my wish has been answered.
Wait a second. Have you lost your mind or something? Why are you thanking me? Did you even understand what I told you? We're kicking you out and moving in ourselves. You should be getting angry at us, not thanking us.
Yeah, and just as you say, I will gladly leave. When I get back to the States, I won't even go back to that place at all. I will probably just send someone to pick up my stuff, so leave it near the entrance. I will find myself a new place to live, so I will let you guys have the apartment. Of course, though, when I say that I will let you have it, I don't mean for free. But I will sell it to you. So you have a bit of time to get your paperwork ready, and then we can sign the deal when I get back.
Wait a second. What do you mean we have to buy it?
Well, the apartment is mine, and if you want to live there, then it only makes sense that you buy it from me first, right?
Wait, what? That can't be.
It was pretty pricey when I got it, and I will be selling it for a similar price, but I'm sure that you and my brother will be able to afford it. After all, unlike me, he is a successful Harvard graduate, right? If the two of you put in a bit of extra work, you should have no problems buying an apartment like that.
Wait a second and explain what you're talking about. The apartment is supposed to belong to your parents, isn't it?
No, that was just a wrong assumption on your part. I was the one who bought it. And right at that time was when they had to sell the family home to pay for some debts, and came crying to me about not having anywhere to live. So out of the kindness of my heart, I let them move in with me, and stay for free as well, mind you.
What? Really?
But I really wish that they hadn't ever come. Even though they were living in my apartment, they liked to pretend that it was the other way around and brag to others like you and Paul. Even when I told my mom to go and correct the mistake and tell you that the apartment belongs to me and that I am not a leech, she just got angry at me. She told me not to say anything unnecessary or tell you the truth because she didn't want Paul to look at them in anything but a positive light. Not only that, but they never even said a single word of thanks to me for letting them come and stay with me. I was even thinking about maybe throwing them out myself. But then here you come along and save me the trouble of doing that? Fantastic.
This has to be a lie. There's no way in hell that you should be able to have the means to buy a place this nice. There's just no way that it's possible. I mean, you're just a piece of trash human who barely works at all. You don't make more than a couple $100 a month.
And who was it that just decided on that out of nowhere? I don't make more than a few $100s. Try over $10K a month.
Wait, what?
You decided on your own that I'd just work part-time a few times a month with no evidence of that at all. I don't know why you decided on that, but it's very far from the truth. I built a company from the ground up with some friends, and we all work hard every day to make sure it's as successful as it is. Even now, I'm not out of the country for some vacation, but for a business trip. I would love to take even one day to myself while I am here, but there's just so much to do that I can't even allow myself that.
Wait. What are you talking about? You started your own company with some friends? Since when? I haven't heard a single word about that before. Paul never said anything to me about it either.
And how would you have heard anything about that from anyone in my family? I make a point to keep everything I do with my work a complete secret from them. Ever since I was pretty little, they would all just make fun of me and call me a failure no matter what I said. And now because of that, I don't tell them anything that they don't need to know about my work. About how much I make, about anything. Those kinds of things might be pretty normal to talk about with family. But in my case, I don't say anything about it at all.
I see. So that's why no one ever knew what it was that you did.
Yeah, exactly. But you took that in a very different way and thought that because I didn't want to talk about it, that it meant that I either didn't work or was too embarrassed about how much I was earning or something like that. You told me that I was living in a dream world and needed to look at reality. But you were the ones who went with your delusions and never even thought that they might be mistaken.
But everyone that has ever spoken to me about you has told me that you are just a straight-up failure. Your parents and Paul all said the same thing to me. They would all make you the butt of their jokes and laugh at you. And now you're telling me that you have your own successful company and make tens of thousands of dollars a month? This just makes no sense. There's no way this could be true. That would mean that you earn more than me and Paul together.
If you don't believe me, then you can ask my mom about it. She knows that it's the truth. That's why she also knew to come and ask me to live in my place for free. Anyway, I don't have any more time to waste talking to you. I need to get back to work. When I get back to the States, though, I want to go through with the sale of the apartment as soon as possible. So make sure you're ready on your side. Why did you have to go and spill the beans on everything? Didn't I tell you not to run your mouth and say anything that wasn't necessary? Are you being for real right now? What are you getting angry at? I'm the one who should be angry at you. What do you think you're doing calling Paul and Beth to live in my apartment? And not just that, but planning to kick me out of my own business too while I am away on business? I've done so much for you this past while, and this is how you're going to repay me? You really have some nerve doing that. Shut up, you failure! Don't get cocky and think that you're useful just because you happen to make some money. What did you say? You haven't done anything out of the ordinary for us at all. We had to get rid of the house in order to keep the business afloat. And for you to then help us by letting us live with you is just what you should do as our daughter. That's your duty to your parents. How much trouble do you think we have gone through over the years to raise you? How much money and time and pain do you think that took? Now it's time that you pay some of that back. So don't you dare start thinking that this is something that you are doing as extra or that we need to owe you for. And here I was wondering why you hadn't even said a single word of thanks to me for letting you live with me. I guess there's my answer. It's because this is how you thought about and justified the situation in your mind. The original plan was to only stay here for a little bit anyway and then move out as soon as we could. But the company's performance just won't go back to normal. The profits aren't coming in as they should. If anything, they're getting worse. I thought that we finally had our chance now that you were out of the country, but even this hasn't worked out. Why did you have to go and tell Beth everything? Chance? What chance are you talking about? Just what exactly have you been planning to do? We thought this was the perfect chance to convince Paul to take the company from our hands and deal with it himself. At first, we always wanted to pass it on to him after we got the numbers and profits back in order, but that can't be helped anymore. We decided to give it over to him as soon as we could. But of course, with the way that it is now, there's a pretty high chance that he wouldn't accept the offer. So we thought that we would be able to reel him in with this apartment and then pass it over to him that way. Wow. You two really are low, aren't you? There's nothing that can save you or turn you into decent people anymore. You run the business into the ground and now you want to palm it off to your son so that he can deal with the repercussions? We're not palming it off. We're passing it over to him, as it should be. You know that he always talked about how he wanted to take over himself someday. Okay then, and so how did it go? It seems like you were able to reel him in with the apartment more or less. So what about the family business? Did he agree to take it on? Of course he didn't! He said that he didn't want anything to do with a business that was right on the brink of collapse and so deep in the red that nothing would save it. Well, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, should it? Would you want to take a company like that from someone else? Shut up! He should have said yes! That was the plan! All his life we have treated him as our favorite and never had any restrictions on what we would do for him. We paid for his education and everything else he had ever wanted or needed. And now that we showed him this high rise that he thought was ours, he should have accepted the offer. He was supposed to accept and then fix the problems facing it. If he managed to do that, then he would have easily been able to buy this apartment from you as well and really made it his. And we could have then gotten our house back too. Everything was supposed to happen like that, but now nothing is going to plan at all. Do you really consider that a plan? Nothing went right, and of course not. You're living in a dream and not planning anything at all. Then who was supposed to fix this company for us then? If even Paul said no, then there's no hope left for us at all. There's no one else who would say yes to this. Why not try giving it to the family's #1 failure? My friends and I have some experience with this kind of thing. I'm sure that we would be able to turn things around soon enough. What? Really? No, just kidding. There's no way I would want to help with that. After all the times that you have treated me like an idiot and called me a failure, did you really think I would come to your rescue? Anyway, I have to get back to work. Good luck trying to convince Paul to take on that sinking ship from you. I won't hold my breath, though.
Stacy, we need your help. Jane has gone insane and won't leave us alone. She keeps trying to make Paul accept the family business and become the new owner, but he doesn't want to. It's in such a terrible state that nothing can save it now. But we already terminated our old lease and moved in, and we can't escape from her.
It sounds like Mom is pretty desperate. Why not just make her happy and take it on? Paul always wanted that in the past.
Are you crazy? That would ruin us. But then she starts raving about how even if we don't take care of the business, that we at least need to look after her and support her financially when it finally collapses.
Well, they have already lost the house, and if they lose the business, they won't have anything left at all. And they probably have no one else that might be willing to look out for them. I certainly wouldn't anymore.
Why should we have to do that? Nobody would want that. We have our own lives that we need to worry about without dealing with their problems as well. But when we said no, they started getting angry and yelling at Paul that they were the ones who raised him and paid for his education, and how he has the duty to look after them now. I'm sick of this whole mess already. I have had enough. You need to take care of this. I hate to say it, but you make more money than me and Paul put together, so it should be nothing for you to look after your parents financially. If you do that, then we can put all of this to rest once and for all.
You're right. It would be basically nothing for me to do that. But even then, I'm not going to do it.
What? How can you say that? They're your parents.
So what? They're the ones who have resented and hated me my whole life for being the failure of the family and never being good enough to live up to their expectations. They didn't even want to live with me for free, remember? That's why they called you and Paul and tried to kick me out of my own home. So I think it's up to you and Paul to take care of things for them.
You can't seriously expect us to do this. Even putting aside the fact that the company is about to collapse, your parents have no house and no money either. They're just dead weight.
I'm surprised you can say something like that. Not too long ago, you were getting along great together and making fun of me.
Please just take care of them, Stacy. To tell you the truth, Paul and I are already in a pretty tough spot as it is. He got laid off from his company during some downsizing, and now I am the only one who is working. I can't support 4 people on just my salary.
Oh, is that what happened? He lost his job?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we wanted to move in here in the first place. We thought that we would be able to at least save some money on rent. But we never thought that Jane was just trying to trick us like this.
It does sound like you're in a pretty tight spot. But remember, Paul is a successful Harvard grad and I am just a failure. I'm sure he will be able to sort everything out just fine.
We can't work things out just like that. We need your help.
No, I am sure you will be fine. But I guess that means that you won't be buying the apartment from me anymore. So I'll ask you to make sure you're out of there by the time I get back to the States so that I can sell it. I don't want to live there myself now that you have all ruined it for me. Afterwards, I finished the work I needed to do abroad and returned home to the States. I sold the apartment and bought a smaller place for myself out of the city with a nice view of the sea. I left all of the paperwork and finding of a new buyer to my lawyers and real estate agent, and luckily I didn't have to see my parents, Paul, or Beth myself. I blocked all of their numbers and haven't heard from them since. According to some rumors that I heard, their business was about to completely go under, but they managed to secure some shady loans to keep it propped up even more. While that might have helped them in the short term, I am sure that it will only make things worse as time goes on. But that has nothing to do with me anymore.